Well, there it goes. Hello, everybody on YouTube. This is FatmanStephens coming at you. Mark Stevens, my good friend Bubby, and right here is the legend Jamal Esquire Holly,
aka the People's Choice, aka the essence of perfection.
Anyway, this is going to be one of the starts of many videos. Right now, we're going to start debating about Okay, we're debating about a good topic of video games, something that Jamal, Eric, or Bubby and I all like. So, what's the first thing we want to talk about? Video
we
games?
gotta talk about E3 coming up.
Yes,
E3
is recorded.
That's the biggest thing everybody's talking about. First of all, I want to know, what do you think is the biggest thing for E3 this year?
Well, for me, it's going to be the Nintendo's next big console. Nintendo's is the first, taking the first step into the next generation of gaming. And why are you smiling? You asked my opinion. Nintendo's console is the biggest thing on the show. Yes, there might be the PS3. I don't know what they're going to do. I heard rumors that Xbox is working on the next console. But for me, 360 last year dropped the ball. Last year they focused too much on Kinect. PS3 didn't show the hardcore games. Last year Nintendo showed all the hardcore games. Donkey Kong, Legend of Zelda, Metroid. They showed them all. And I think this year, if they can just announce the new system and a new Smash Brothers, a new Zelda, they straight.
I hate to agree with you, but you're right. Anytime when there's a debut of a new system, you know.
Wait a minute.
That's a rare.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Did you disagree with me?
I mean, I agree. I mean, anytime you got a new system, and the other, companies ain't going, show their new systems, then, hands down, Nintendo has it. They're bringing out a new system. That's what everybody wants to see. Xbox, I mean, I don't know what they're going to really talk about. And PlayStation's pretty much dead.
PlayStation's not dead.
So
PlayStation's not dead. Why? Why they're dead? Please explain this.
What good games have they come out with lately? You name a game, and I'll compare it to Xbox and Nintendo.
Good question. Let's see. The last big PS3 release, if I remember, I can name games that came out last year. We got Mag, came out in January.
Never heard of it, so that game sucks. Next. Yep.
Heavy Rain, God of War 3 came out back-to-back months last year.
LA North completely kills Heavy Rain.
First of all, it does not. Heavy Rain and LA North, they may be the same kind of games, but Heavy Rain for me is better. LA North.
I beg to differ.
Well, you never played either one, so your opinion doesn't really matter.
I beg to differ. I never played Halo Rain, but I saw it being played in LA North. Same thing. LA North is better. It's on 360, the best system in the world. PS3, the worst system in the world.
So you think Wii is better than PS3?
Unfortunately, it is.
Why is PS3 so bad in your decision? Like, have you played Uncharted, Demon's Souls, Infamous? Infamous 2 better come out this week. So
those games weren't good except for Uncharted. That's the only.
Have you even heard of Infamous?
No. No.
My point exactly.
That explains it. If I never heard of it, it's a bad game.
That's not how you should rate games.
That's how it goes.
So you never heard of a wrestler? We get into our wrestling pretty soon later. If you never heard of a wrestler, that means he's bad.
Pretty much. If I
CM Punk, Samoa Joe, before they came to WWE or came to WWE TNA, they had a great 1-hour match in Ring of Honor, and that's considered one of their best matches. You should watch it. It's a really good match.
I mean, when you put two bad guys together, eventually, the match will be good. They was bad back then, but now,
Whatever. What makes Xbox 360 the top console?
That's where the games is. That's where everything is. That's where the games is. Xbox Live.
But you have to pay for Xbox Live.
Huh?
Why do I have to pay for Xbox Live? I can just play PS3 games for free online.
Well, it's worth it. That's why you gotta pay for it, because you get more.
It's worth $60 a year. Maybe the plus to play. For me, I'm not a really online gamer. I'm a single player guy. So I gotta play $60 a year just to play Mortal Kombat online, like maybe twice a week. That makes sense to you? Something better gonna use?
I mean, it's Xbox Live. Not only are you playing people online, you get to watch movies, you get to watch ESPN.
I can do that on PS3. I can watch Netflix on PS3 and Wii now. ESPN is the only thing 360 has over PS3.
People, y'all know which system is better. If you want to play some good games like Halo, Serious, you know where to go to.
Halo's the only game that they have.
If you want to play Kill Switch,
Killzone,
you know where to go to.
Well, Killzone 3 is regarded as one of the best first-person shooters. Actually, that's a game. Thank you. How about proof? My point. That came out in February.
Never heard of it being a good game, but
Killzone 3. It got
I heard
you, sir, are smoking all kinds of
I never heard of that. I didn't hear anything about Killzone.
I see now you're just being a jerk.
No, I mean I have it. I know it came out. I mean I heard about it, but I haven't heard that many good things about it. Gears of War 3 coming soon for the Xbox exclusively.
Anyway, so games. What else? Why is 360 better than PS3 besides games?
Other than the games, the
online
online is better.
No internet browser.
That's the only negative, but we don't get our internet hacked.
It was more of a network thing, but that's
our network doesn't get hacked. We don't get networks hacked, you know.
Your systems just blow up.
We have really good things called achievements, which are much better than trophies.
Debate the same thing. The only thing.
Achievements are much better than trophies.
I don't think so.
I beg to differ. They're much better.
I mean, I do appreciate the achievement points. Like, get certain points, and while PS3 has like gold, silver, and like that, I do like achievements more. But there's, you know what I mean? Basically the same thing.
I mean, the only thing good about PS3 is Blu-ray. I mean,
once again, 360 lost on that one. HD DVD.
I mean, Xbox has Gears of War, Halo. We have all the great exclusive games. What the PS3 has anymore?
Uncharted, Killzone, Infamous. They're getting Sly Cooper 4. They have a lot of good games still coming out for the system.
Sly Cooper 4 coming out.
They got God of War. God of War's coming out.
Overrated. What else? You didn't name Metal Gear Solid 4. That's the only.
Because Metal Gear Rising's coming out for 360, so
we took that.
They lost
that.
See? They're coming out for 360 and PS3.
Yeah, we took that. So PS3.
That's like people saying. Just like saying they said 360 took Grand Theft Auto. They didn't take Grand Theft Auto.
We took that too.
Yes, it's more money. It's just more money. Multi-platform releases.
What does PS3 has? People?
I just told you.
What do they have?
Uncharted.
Because this guy hasn't named a game yet. I want the people to know what
you like Uncharted. Because Uncharted 2 is one of the best games I played on PS3.
I've heard about it, but I haven't heard anything that good about it. I know that it exists.
Uncharted 2 has high octane scenes like any other game. It's for me, in my opinion, Uncharted is better than Gears of War. In my opinion, and I played both.
Uncharted, Gears of War. I didn't heard it all. I'm going to the Ben Franklin Bridge and I'm gonna jump off. I really am.
Not that serious.
Yeah, for that one.
But seriously, you don't see the comparison. You can't.
Gears of War, you can't compare that to Uncharted.
You need to play these games before you debate about them. Unlike you, I play Gears of War 1 and 2, and I play Uncharted 1 and 2.
And Uncharted is better than Gears of War.
Yes, I like Uncharted much more better experience from there.
You can't.
It's more fun. I think Nathan Drake's a much better character than Marcus Phoenix. Marcus Phoenix is just he's a brute. He's just stupid. Nathan Drake, he's smart.
Uncharted.
Well, and I'm not a first-person shooter fan, but Killzone 3 looks better than Halo 3. It looks better to me. Infamous is better than Prototype. I mean, I know even though Prototype's on PS3, but I'm just saying.
I don't even know why we talk. You really can't compare PS3 or the Wii to Xbox. It's not even close when it comes to which is the better system.
When it comes to games,
it's not close when it comes to games.
When it comes to 3 games, it's 3 is PS3, 2 is 360, and 1 is Nintendo.
Nah, that's not how.
Zelda. I don't care how big 360 is. You can't compare Halo, Gears of War, and it's 360. And we have another big top series. What else? What else do they have? They have Halo, Gears of War. What else?
Or as far as exclusives?
Like what big series do they have? Because I can
no, can't count that. That's on PS3.
What?
I was about to say Call of Duty. That's on PS3.
Who cares about Call of Duty?
Yeah, I don't care neither. Call of Duty is overrated.
That's the only agreement you'll hear tonight.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
I mean,
because there's guys coming out on both. New one that's looks good. They're gonna show that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you can't when you compare those two, you can't. There's nothing to compare it to Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, Metroid, any of those. Especially Zelda and Mario. Zelda and Mario. I'm sorry. Super Mario Galaxy 2 was the most underrated game of last year. And it got 10s from everywhere, and nobody talked about for Game of the Year. And you know everybody talking about last year?
There's a reason for that.
When everybody's talking about last year? Red Dead Redemption, which is Grand Theft Auto in the desert. Yeah. It wasn't even that great.
I know.
LA Noire is 10 times better than Red Dead Redemption.
I heard about
10 times.
I don't even want to get on Red Dead. But
why? Because you don't like it?
I never played it, but I heard a lot of good stuff about it. Heard
yeah,
a lot of good
you
stuff.
didn't play Uncharted 2. You didn't hear nothing about it. I find it hard to
Hey,
believe.
see, I never heard nothing about that.
I find that very hard to believe.
Uncharted 2, seriously, it's a waste of time.
Anyway,
you want to play a game, play Gears of War, Halo.
All right, Jamal. Let's see your video game knowledge. What is your favorite game of all time? Of all the games you ever played? Now you think you mine. I'm right in the back. Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
That is a pathetic answer.
That
is really bad. And I'm upset.
Have you ever played it?
Because I've never heard anything great about that game in my entire life.
You've never heard
I don't think he's heard about it. If he has, he knows it's bad. Nobody knows about this game.
Excuse me. I actually have heard of the game. I've played the game. I've enjoyed watching my younger brother here play the game. And I must say, it will go up there in the Hall of Fame for PS1 and PSP games out there.
And that's why my brother.
And he didn't say it was the best of all time. So
once again, excuse me, that's because the best game of all time is a matter of opinion. No industry can tell you what the best game of all time is.
And that's why I asked your opinion. Now, what is your favorite game? You gotta have.
Well,
and you say anything from this generation.
Oh no, it's not this generation. It's not. And the fact is that the #1 game of all time for me,
Super Mario World. Please say Super Mario World.
It's Super Mario World.
How did I know that?
I might have told you that before.
Because I'm a genius. I remember stuff. I knew you were going to say that.
For Super Nintendo, that was the game that's what got me playing video games to today.
But now
I never beat it to this day. It's one of the hardest games I've ever played.
Beat it.
It's the hardest game you could ever play. I never beat it.
That's not right. But
so what's harder than that?
Alundra, Ninja Gaiden 1.
I know people that beat that in like 2 hours. I know people that beat those games in 2 hours. I know people that beat those games
God Hand
without cheat codes. I know people that beat all those games. Mario took.
So Super Mario World is your favorite game of all time, and you just dissed Mario like 5 minutes ago.
I didn't diss him.
You did.
I didn't. I mean, Galaxy is a disgrace compared to Super Mario World. I mean, come on, Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy.
It's generally bad to go from a world to a galaxy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a shame, folks. He actually does not understand how to read sarcasm.
He's very sarcastic. But why is Galaxy 2 not? Why are you not acknowledging that? Like, but more you're acknowledging Super Mario World, which has been out for like as long as I've been born.
Yeah, it's a good game.
I understand it's a great game.
Mario Kart is good. I love Mario Kart. That's good. But Galaxy.
Folks never played Galaxy 1 or 2, so it wasn't getting his opinion doesn't matter. So I asked him about if I asked him about JRPGs. He hasn't played them. He doesn't know what RPGs are. All he knows is he associates Final Fantasy with all RPGs, and that's not true because he's still Tales, we still got Wild Arms, Shadow Hearts, what else?
People, y'all heard all the games he mentioned. Send some comments because honestly, I can't think of one good game you just said. I can't.
Thank you.
I can't think of it.
Love Phantasy Star.
I mean,
what do you have against? Why are Japanese RPGs so bad to you? What is the problem? I need details. I'll give you time. Go ahead and talk.
This Gaia, Atlas games in general.
Not sir.
So why is Japanese
RPGs so bad to you? What is the problem with them?
Yes, please. I'm not in this, but I'm gonna give them 2 cents.
Number 1, the stories are pointless. The stories, they don't even really have a story. Okay. You just go around and you fight random people, and everything has to do with points. That's weird. That's weird.
So what's Gears of War? Is Gears of War the same thing? You shoot random things, going from point A to point B.
No.
And that's pointless story. What's the story?
I agree. Gears of War story, it doesn't make sense. I mean, they don't really tell you anything. I mean, at least Halo, they tell you, you know, what's going on. Gears of War story it don't make sense, but the campaign, the boards, the levels are perfect. But the story doesn't make sense though. It doesn't. I agree on that. But RPGs, again, it's ridiculous. I mean, I played it, and after
name one RPG you ever played in your life. Don't say Fallout. Don't say World of Warcraft.
It was a Disney RPG.
Don't say Kingdom Hearts. It's not RPG. It's action RPG. Difference.
See, another thing about RPGs, there's different kinds. Kingdom Hearts.
It's like some shooters. There's color-based shooters. There's over-the-top shooters.
I played Kingdom Hearts before. I forgot my friend's house. I ain't gonna say the name. Harris. I'll call him that. That was his last name. I played it at his house for 30 minutes. I ejected the CD and I didn't save it, and we played something else.
I didn't save them. Kingdom Hearts.
I mean, it was bad. Yeah.
You didn't give it a try. You can't get a game in 30 minutes.
I played Halo for 1 minute and knew it was one of the best games I
played. You're horrible.
I knew it.
Alright, whatever reasons the Japanese RPG is so bad.
I mean, I named like 5 reasons, right?
Story, that's it. What else you said?
I said the attack, the skill points with the where you just fight random people.
You don't like that?
I don't like that.
Yes, it's definitely wrong to create a character the way you want to see that character be created. That's what most people honestly hate. People love when they have something just given to them in a stoic form of this is what you have, this is what you can use, this is what you can do. That's it. Most people don't generally like to say, oh, I can make my character this strong, this smart, or anything of the sort. Yeah. And just for all you folks out there, I'm pretty sure you all know this, all forms of RPG before they were put on a computer or a game console in general came from a game called Dungeons and Dragons.
So good.
These games are killing me.
So story, skill points, because you don't want to level up. You just want to go through the game in 5 minutes and beat it.
Every board level. Every level has a boss. I think it's annoying to have too many bosses in one game.
That's an action adventure game.
That's really.
That's.
Some places you can go through a whole dungeon and not have any boss fights. And some RPGs. That's all they know.
And some.
It's like okay. Yeah,
a lot of RPGs has bad music as well. The music is really bad. I hate the music. I mean,
no, you just not that's the music of RPG games.
I'm sorry, the music is bad.
Alright, I'm gonna play tracks. Oh, that's it. That's all you got.
That's all I got.
All right. I don't agree with any of those music. So what video game has good music? Don't say Halo 3 or Gears of War.
Halo 3 does have good music, but
hey, you play any other games besides those?
I'm about to name some other games that's going to kill it. Grand Theft Auto 4 had good music.
I don't imagine naming games from this generation that had good music. You're not naming Sonic or Mario or any of the games from the past.
Well, I didn't like those musics either.
Yeah, like
they was cartoony, robot-y music.
Robot-y.
Yeah.
Robot-y.
I didn't really. I mean, they was catchy, but I mean, I like the new generation music. I
have not heard.
Jet Set Radio Future, one of the best games of all time.
Okay.
That has some good music.
That has some good music.
That has some good music.
I love that. The game he couldn't beat, ladies and gentlemen. He couldn't get past the last stage.
The game that he somehow
beat him one day.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's one of the hardest games you ever played.
The last stage was pretty hard. The last stage goes down in history as one of the hardest things I ever did in a video game. But
I don't know how he got past that one level, but no.
We had to grind on rounds and stuff. I actually want to play that game again.
I do too.
But I don't agree with your RPG assessment at all. I don't understand.
People, y'all agree. I know y'all do.
They don't, because a lot of people love RPGs. They wouldn't be selling like they do.
I don't get what you people like about RPGs. I really don't.
Whatever.
We gotta. I don't really want to keep talking about this boring subject of RPGs.
All right, bring us topic, Jamal. I've been bringing them all up. Say something.
How do you feel about sports games?
They're alright. because lately, as I've become more and more of a gamer, I've started getting into like baseball and tennis. So I picked those games up, but you can't really change too much about a tennis and baseball game. You said it yourself, because I was about to get MLB 2K11, and you said, what'd you say to me?
It was the same as last year.
So what's the point of buying the same old?
I agree.
So I mean, like, but at least for Top Spin 3 and 4, there's so much of a difference for me to pick it up. Plus, it was $40.
Do you like sports games?
I honestly don't have a problem with sports games, but I more so prefer what I like to call the abstract sports games. NFL
Blitz.
Blitz.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like
the crazy games.
Yeah.
Stuff you can't do in
NBA
real life.
Jam.
Yeah, I like
I
those.
understand.
That's what video games are for.
Yeah.
I understand
like
where they're going with the Madden and all of that and NBA 2K, but here's how I see it, and please, I mean to offend no one out there. Honestly, if you've played one Madden, you've played them all. They're all the same with just different graphics.
That's the reason I don't play realistic games like that. I can play video games to get away. And I'm playing a game like a football game or a basketball game that's so realistic. I'm just going, to a different world. Like it's not for me.
I agree with that.
I play games. I want to see fantasy stuff that I can't see in real life. Same thing with movies.
Yeah, people. Just to let y'all know, when you're playing Madden, that's a good point. That's how they suck y'all into the system. All they do is change the rosters and do the little trades, but it's the same game.
The same thing with WWE.
I wonder if changing the name will make it different.
When nowadays all you would honestly have to do as a gaming company, it would probably cost you a little money, but so many gaming companies out there make billions upon billions of dollars, so all they would have to do is make DLC for the next Madden that was on PS3 or Xbox 360. Once you do that, it'll change the game in general through just downloading something.
But you gotta keep making that money.
That's very true.
Yeah, like I said, once again, my final opinion on that. No problem with sports games. I can play sports games now, but like Bubby said, I prefer the over the top ones more. I'll take the bigs over MLB any day of the week.
Like I'm honestly, folks, I won't lie. This will border on an RPG for a second, not to get away from sports, but aside from that,
he missed the camera, but
honestly, I was a big fan of Final Fantasy X. And a big portion of Final Fantasy X was playing a sport that they had in there called Blitzball. Right, yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they made a Final Fantasy sports game based off of Blitzball.
I'm surprised they didn't have, because Square Enix is such a bunch of whores.
This is true, but I mean, it would have been something different.
505 Kingdom Hearts, but no third one.
Here's another question. I'm really want to know your opinion.
Here we go.
This is something y'all can relate to more than the sports one. That was just a test. Best fighting game you ever played?
Was between Street Fighter 4 from Super Street Fighter 4. Wait, you gotta let me finish. Or Tekken 3. For me. Wait, I got a full clap, then I got a half clap.
I got it mixed up. You're on the right track.
I'm on the right track.
There's me.
Best fighting game.
Best fighting game I ever played.
You can pick two if it's tough.
I'd honestly have to say, no, I'm not going to have to pick two. Ooh. It's a game that a lot of people don't know about. It's called Psychic Force 2012.
Yeah, you always talk about Psychic Force.
I enjoyed that game very much.
You ever heard of it? So just because you never heard of it, that means it's a bad game.
The game not only had a great storyline, but it also spawned several animes.
What system is this on?
It was on Dreamcast, but it originally started on PS1, then was moved to Dreamcast. And then the game is based on psychics of both elements, time, in any manner of ability you could think of. The PS1 version had something called the Psych Up move, where you could actually take a character, let's say you played with a character whose psychic basis was fire. If you beat the character whose psychic basis was water enough, you would actually have a fire character who had the ability to use certain water techniques that he learned from that character after, let's give it a wrestling reference, laid the smackdown on him enough.
Let's let you know you just lost Jamal. You used to make big words.
Yeah.
All right, Jamal,
didn't understand the words. So.
What is your favorite fighting game of all time?
You were on the right track with Tekken, but it's not 3, it is 2. I think Tekken 2 is the best game that I've ever played. Fighting game. Yeah. That's... Or, what was the Mortal Kombat that had Rain in it?
Trilogy.
There you go. That was pretty good.
What's that Tekken 2 and Mortal Kombat trilogy away from all the other fighters that you ever played?
I'm gonna go with Mortal Kombat first. First of all, that game had more characters than any Mortal Kombat game I could think of.
Well, Armageddon had like every character they ever had made.
They had Rain in it.
I'm pretty sure they had Rain in it.
I take that back. But Mortal Kombat trilogy, I think it was the funnest game I played out of all the Mortal Kombat. The buttons were easy.
They played new one. You play new. How's Mortal Kombat 2011 compared to trilogy?
Gameplay wise, I mean, I like to do Mortal Kombat, but it's just a little harder to get used to than
Basically, you can't cheat. Is what you're trying to say compared to trilogy.
Now, if I had to go out there and say one of the hardest fighting games out there of all time, I'm not sure if that may have been Jamal Marcus's next question. I'd honestly have to go with Killer Instinct. That was one of the hardest fighting games of all time that I've played.
The only clap we hear tonight from Jamal Holly. I never played a Killer Instinct ever in my life. Never played it.
You'd get highly frustrated.
You get points. You really get points. I actually cried playing that game. As a kid, I cried.
Do you think you cannot admit to the internet community?
I cried. Because I just had a hard time after a while playing that game, but I loved it. The guy with the scissor hands. I don't know their names. The guy that was like Fire. The guy that was in Fire. I forget their names.
Cinder.
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 Man, that was my favorite.
Orchid.
The Skeletor guy. Spinal. Yeah, that.
Gracious.
Okay. Talking about the best fighting game. What's the worst fighting game you ever played?
Killer Instinct. I apologize for not even bringing that up because I love that game. I really do.
So what's the worst?
Any game that can make me cry is good.
What's the worst fighting game you ever played?
Worst fighting game I've ever played in my entire life is for the PSP called The Con.
I remember that game.
That game is GAR bitch.
What about you, Jamal?
The worst? Come back. I'm trying to think. This is I'm
not a big fan of the I don't know if anybody played them. There was like these claymation fighters on like I think it was called Clay Fighter.
It was. I know exactly.
I don't like them at all. I tried to play them and the characters were I don't know. It wasn't for me.
And I also have to state it. I don't mean to get too new school with the PSP. I mean technically it is still new compared to this game I am about to name. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters.
What's this one that on?
That was on GameCube, I believe.
Yeah, I saw the Game Informer.
And PS2? Early PS2.
John sucked. It's like War of the Monsters. I hated that.
That's what it was. Excuse me, not Destroy All Monsters. War of the Monsters.
That movie was stupid. One of the worst fights. We're going to on the topic of best and worst. We can just go through.
My worst?
Man.
I honestly can't even think. I never really played a bad game.
You didn't play a bad game in your life?
I mean a bad fighting game.
I'm gonna be honest. Game?
The one fighting game I didn't like. I hate to say this is my worst because a lot of people like this game, but I couldn't get into Street Fighter that much.
You know something? I'm not gonna say I disagree because I know people who know of Mortal Kombat but don't know of Street Fighter.
Right. All three of the major ones, Tekken, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, they're also different, and like
I couldn't get into Street Fighter.
Like when they do the Street Fighter Tekken crossovers, both of them, it's going to be interesting to see like how they, That's why I'm glad we released two different games.
Oh, it'll be definitely interesting to see. If I'm not mistaken, they're running the same game on both games' engine, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that will definitely be something to see.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not gonna say it's the worst game, but it was the most realistic fighting game I've ever played, and that was Bushido Blade.
I love Bushido Blade.
It was fun. You could die within 2 seconds of a match.
It was fun.
It was fun and a little, just like with the sports games. It was one of the most realistic fighting games I've ever played.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really like Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe neither.
Well, that was a horrible cash in. Anyway,
I didn't really like that.
All right.
I mean, sometimes you get game companies, they try to push the envelope a little too far, and when you're pushing, you end up ripping.
So, Jamal, what's your favorite racing game of all time?
He's going to say Need for Speed or something.
Mm-hmm.
Really
overrated. Need for Speed is an overrated racing game.
I'm surprised you said that.
I don't like it.
Let's say Forza.
Oh no. A watered down Gran Turismo. I'm big on racing games. There's a game, I'm gonna go old school first. There's a game that I remember, the first racing game I ever played. I never beat it, of course. It was called Ridge Racer for the PlayStation 1. That game started it all. And far as new school, I would probably have to say Test Drive. Test Drive.
Which one? The newest one? No, not the newest one. Not Limited 2, right?
I'm gonna go with Unlimited. 2 was better, but it was gayer at the same time.
Bobby, did you have a favorite racing game?
Believe it or not, yes, I do. I'm gonna start and give respects to, first and foremost, it was a racing game for the Atari called Pole Position. I loved Pole Position. It was the first racing game that I've ever played, and it started me on my long journey down that speedway of playing racing games. And it'll end with me, just like with the sports and the RPGs and whatnot. Well, excuse me, sports and fighting games. Excuse me, folks. I like the abstract, so I'm gonna have to say any one of the Burnouts.
And you definitely stole my answer.
I love Burnout. I still play it this day for PSP.
Yeah, Burnout 3 is my favorite racing game.
It's just great.
That's the first Burnout. No, I played Burnout 2 first. But Burnout 3 was one of those games, like, came out of nowhere, and it just took it over. I just love Burnout 3. I had nothing better to say about it. I got somebody else in playing the whole Burnout series because of it. You know what I'm talking about. And, you know, I have to look back. I mean, I didn't like Burnout Paradise, the one that came out for the new generation, but people who did Burnout did Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit, and that's a really good game. So,
Burnout, folks, this is for the ones who haven't played it. It's what would happen if you took Need for Speed and mixed it with the abstract form of NFL Blitz minus the sports.
And that's why I like it.
Power and just.
And that's why I can't play Gran Turismo or something like that. It's too realistic.
That's what I was about to say. I respect Burnout, but I can't. I'm more of a realistic racing type of guy. I like
That's
it.
why you don't like RPGs.
It's why I don't like. You know, I can't really get into it, but
you don't get a lot of fancy games. Period.
It's okay.
Gears of War is probably as much fancy you'll get.
It's okay. It's better than the RPG.
Get.
It's better than the RPG.
All right, let's go to another genre gaming. Survival horror fan, Jamal?
But again, Test Drive.
Survival horror fan? Survival horror, do you know what that is?
I have no idea what he's
Resident Evil, anything like that.
Oh, okay. It's like a scary game. Pretty.
Let's put it in Jamal's terms. Favorite scary game you ever played? Let's open name, but I'm gonna go first. I got mine.
The scariest would probably be well, I didn't have the game. My friend had it. I played it before. It was Manhunt. That was pretty vicious.
Yes, it's more survival. Yeah, I guess it's kind of scary. I mean, Pigface was it Pigface? Was that the guy Pigface or something like that?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Something like that.
I couldn't really get into no, I'll say that for later.
If you say something you couldn't get Resident Evil or Silent Hill, you're gonna have a problem with me.
I'll save it for later.
Oh god.
All respect given to both Resident Evil and Silent Hill. For me, I'll be honest, folks. I haven't actually played this game. I've just seen clips, and I've seen other people play this game. For me, one of the most scary survival horror games to me was Clock Tower.
Clock Tower is insanely scary. Especially, like, even the first one, you know, is like in 2D. It's still like one of them scary games. But for me, I had to pick one of the new generation games in Dead Space because
definitely,
if Dead Space was one of those games that I was gonna say something.
Could you count Doom?
Well, I guess Doom 3 maybe. I mean, Doom 1 and 2 are more.
But I mean 3. That's what I meant. 3.
I guess 3 seems kind of scary, but Dead Space is one of those games that, first of all, had next generation graphics. And even though it had that whole Resident Evil like behind the look camera thing, it wasn't like a real kind of a shooter. You know, you're always limited on ammo, and it just when you first play it, you don't know what to expect really. And I saw that pinky up. You don't know what to expect, and it's just scary as walking down corridors. It's one of those games I was actually scared to even pick up and play. Like, but I got through it. You know, I played it like from like 1 to 5 like each night, and then I really couldn't get to sleep. It's probably the scariest game I ever played. It's easily my favorite survival horror. But obviously, like Jamal was saying, are you hating on Resident Evil or Silent Hill? Because
it was going to be Resident Evil. I couldn't get into it. I tried playing it, but
why? What is different? What is wrong? Was it the camera? How you couldn't really move around, or was it just like the story? What particular part of Resident Evil that you couldn't get into? Like,
I just couldn't. I mean,
what about Silent Hill?
Never played it. I heard about it. Now I heard Dead Space is good though. I'm not going to say anything.
Dead Space is the Resident Evil for the next generation because it has more action than Resident Evil.
I know so many people that play that. Left 4 Dead. I know people that.
Left 4 Dead's not really scary. I mean, it's more. I mean, it's co-op. I guess it is. I don't know. It's cooperative kind of thing. It's not really survival. Yes, it is. Forget it. Yeah. But all right. Let's go to another genre. How about action adventure games? And this is the big broad.
This is.
I'll narrow it down to like let's do each generation. How about let's go from let's skip the Nintendo era and all that. Let's start at the Super Nintendo Genesis era.
Right.
What would be like your favorite action platformer game from that generation?
Favorite action platformer game from Super Nintendo?
Super Nintendo Genesis up to that point with this, I guess with 32-bit.
Can we go to PlayStation 2?
No,
64.
No,
that's next.
That's next.
Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly have to say, for Super Nintendo, this is random. This is random. This is just one of them. It was Duck Dodgers.
Duck Dodgers.
I played that before.
DuckTales.
I
All
played
that
it
good
before.
games. Everything out there. Alright, favorite action adventure game it was a Sega Genesis game. Don't know if you want to play it. I played it in front of you. Beyond Oasis.
Yes,
it's a really good. Yes. It's a really good game from that era.
What about Light Crusader?
Now, when we talk about action adventure, we're talking like.
Folks, if you haven't played Light Crusader, there's just this extremely funny part where when your health gets down to a certain point, the game will scream at you, "They're gonna kill you." It's just hilarious to see a game scream that to a child when you think how so many years ago this child could be like 4 or 5 and the game's screaming that they're gonna kill you.
Speaking of Light Crusader, that's our heroes because I honorable mention.
Yes.
Action adventure.
It was one of the first co-op.
It's like
Sonic type.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. Well.
Platform or stuff like that.
Oh, well then Super Mario. I mean,
that's easy enough.
I mean, Sonic is right behind it, but those were the games I played.
All right, next era. Let's go to the next era, which would be PS.
This is what I'm waiting.
PS1. I know your answer. PS1 and 64. I'm thinking Crash Bandicoot.
Well, I mean, you already said it. Crash Bandicoot.
All right, why Crash Bandicoot? I mean, for the obvious reason. Why Crash Bandicoot?
It was like Mario, but different. But I liked it. I mean,
Mario, but different.
Believe it or not, I can understand where you're coming from.
It was like Mario, but it was different. But it was it was the same because Mario get the cape, he get the little mask, ooga ooga. But that game was fun. I love the boss. I forget his name. It began with an N.
Cortez.
Just for the record, I don't think you want to be black and say ooga ooga on camera.
Yeah.
Favorite action adventure game from the PS1 and 64 eras?
Alright, I'll have to give one for both. And if this game is not respected, I know my brother right here will respect it. For Nintendo 64, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Yes. Yes.
AKA the best game ever made.
Yes. For
PS1,
and I know I'll definitely get a hand clap from this. This is a game that I haven't personally beat, but I've watched him beat Castlevania Symphony of the Night. They're both extremely great games, and I would play them over and over and over again.
What's it talking about? Both of those games, I will mention, but my favorite action adventure game was on PS1, Alundra. Without a shadow of a doubt. It was dark, it was challenging, it was fun.
Little girl gets her neck broke.
Spoiler alerts. Yeah, it's 2011. It came out in 97. You haven't played it, now you're not gonna play it. But it's just one of those games. It's a total package, and it reminds me of the better times of gaming. So that's why I like it so much.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next era. That's PS2. Next era is PS2, GameCube, Xbox, and well, I'll put Dreamcast in there because the good graphics. So at that era, what is maybe your favorite action adventure game from that era? It's too many.
There's a lot, but Jet Set really.
Jet Set was pretty
Jet
nice.
Set Radio Future set the tone.
Oh man,
it set the tone, man. I never got so hooked onto a game. I was so hooked I had to ask somebody to help me to beat it. I mean, I was that determined, which was him, of course. That was my favorite.
If I had to choose one, yeah, I'm gonna get a little cliche with this. I like the introduction. Excuse me, I was about to say introduction, but the introduction of Devil May Cry. Fast paced, hard bosses,
Devil May Cry,
and it spawns several remakes, even branching off into the same game, different main character.
Yeah.
However, the main character from the first 3 did make his appearance.
So I mean, it's definitely Devil May Cry is one of the top games of that generation.
I must say they did, however, drop the ball with Devil May Cry 2.
Man.
That's just my opinion.
For me, I guess I gotta go for Xbox for action adventure game. Ninja Gaiden 1, the first Ninja Gaiden in the new series.
Extremely hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's horrible. It's definitely one of those games where I picked up. That was one of my 2 reasons for getting an Xbox. It was Ninja Gaiden and Shenmue 2, and Ninja Gaiden was so hard. You know the game is gonna be hard when you can't beat the first boss. So yeah, Ninja Gaiden definitely gets the honorable mention for being my favorite game favorite action adventure game of that era.
And folks, I must take it back for I've committed a horrible act to Super Nintendo and all the Nintendo games. How the 3 of us who call ourselves gamers could not remember this: Mega Man.
Oh, yeah, well, Mega Man. See, I guess Mega Man came out during the Nintendo era because 1 to 6 was on Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
And then Mega Man 7 was on Super Nintendo. Mega Man 2, to be more specific, because Mega Man 2 had good music.
Very good music.
All right, let's go to this generation, which is going to be pretty soon the previous generation. But what's the favorite action adventure game you have of this generation? PS3, 360, and Wii. If you want, you can put DS and PSP in there if you've got a portable game. Because there's a lot of good ones on DS. But for me, I guess maybe I'll go first. My favorite action adventure game would probably Infamous is up there. And I really liked Demon Souls, but that's more of an RPG game. I don't know, I really don't know now. I'm thinking about it. There's so many great ones I played. Dead Rising. First Dead Rising really changed my experience, my look on look of Capcom. That's one of my favorite action adventure games. It's something that they never did. Yeah, you got 72 hours in the mall. And when I first picked it up, I couldn't put it down. I went with the GameStop with June Ballers.
Yeah.
That's one of those games that I love so much. So I'll put that up there. That or Infamous. Anybody else? Your favorite? Other generation?
I'm going to be honest.
War, Sorry.
I wouldn't count that as action adventure.
It is.
And also
It's an action and adventure game. I mean,
not to
Gears of War.
And again, not to turn back the pendulum for all you Bleach fans, you should know what that means. For PS2, I'd have to say also Onimusha.
Oh, I forget about Onimusha.
Onimusha. I still play them to this day. Those games are awesome.
Onimusha.
Gears of War.
Why? What has Gears of War done different than any other game?
I mean, that's
actually,
action adventure.
And I go back to the previous generation. Resident Evil 4 is actually my favorite game from that generation.
And I
forgot about that.
I'd have to say Prototype and Infamous.
Infamous is better, even though Prototype is more gory. Infamous is much more solid game.
It most certainly is.
All right, let's get a good topic to wrap it up. So we go to our next part. We've been talking for like 40 minutes.
One more topic.
All right, go ahead. You got it?
You know I had to do this. First person shooter. You know I had to do it.
What about strategy?
And this is best first person shooter game you ever played. So it could be for any generation. I already know what y'all gonna say. I already know.
I'd like to go.
Let's hear it.
What do you believe that I'm going to say, Mr. Ollie?
The game that I would say.
And what game would that be?
Wolfenstein.
I don't want to put this over my Halo.
Just give us the first letter of the game.
I don't want to put it over Halo, but you gotta go with GoldenEye.
Okay, you were completely wrong in believing that was the game I was going to say. Personally, I believe, and the matches that I've had with my younger brother here will live in infamy. Time Splitters 2, the famous Bricks and Bats match. You turn off every gun in the game, and you just run around with bricks and bats until you can get the most kills. It is epic.
This was the GameCube, right?
It was on
we played Time Splitters 2 and 3. 3 was the one we did Bricks and Bats in.
Yeah.
Because my friend had Time Splitters and I hated it. I couldn't get into it.
And to get a little more new school, I honestly enjoy Modern Warfare.
Alright, so
overrated.
So we say first person shooter. So you're talking about first person game.
I respect it.
Are you talking about games from first person perspective?
Yeah.
Like all over?
Yeah.
Alright, well you're not gonna know the game I'm talking about. So it's an Xbox game called Breakdown. Never heard. It's more a first person adventure game though. But I mean it has shooting elements. But I there's also punching involved, like and kicking and stuff. Anyway, that's a game you should look up. I have it upstairs. You gotta look at that game up. And you forgot something, didn't you?
I forgot something, but before I get to that, when you think of first person, GoldenEye, Halo, everything else.
Halo's not.
As far as action adventure, I really apologize for forgetting this, but one of the hardest. Actually, this is one of the hardest games I ever played, and I never beat. Tomb Raider 2.
I'm done. Tomb Raider 2.
I mean, that was my favorite.
Do you know what a hard game is?
I'll say they were irritating, but hard no.
What do you think of the hard game you ever played then?
It's not the hardest game
I've ever played.
Yeah. It's not the hardest, but it was hard.
Because the ones you're Ninja Gaiden are games that are hard.
Oh, yeah, I mean Ninja Gaiden. I played one level. I gave one.
Devil May Cry 3 is the one game that's hard.
Yes, I'll have to say.
I mean,
Devil May Cry, Dante Must Die.
There's a hard game.
That made the game darn near impossible. You couldn't receive more than 2 hits or you lost.
Just a Radio Future, last stage, hard.
It's not the hardest game I ever played, but it was hard, back then. I mean, I could probably beat it now.
Because it may be a kid and all.
Yeah, I could probably beat it now.
Because I run through Sonic 2, and I thought that was hard when I was a kid, but I could beat Sonic 2 in like 45 minutes now.
And I know my friend here, younger brother, I can call him that, he'll probably agree with this. If you ever played a game called Digital Devil Saga,
that's pretty hard.
The optional boss.
Which one?
The Demi-Fiend.
And that's because he's a super boss. He's cheating.
Darn near impossible
Lucifer.
to beat. If you've ever played Atelier Iris, the Eternal Mana, the 3 Golden Pigs, darn near impossible to beat. Star Ocean, Freya on Universe mode, darn near impossible to beat. One Ether Strike, you don't even have to actually get hit by the full attack. Just the wave of the attack can kill you.
Here's what we're talking about stuff. But anyway, Bobby brought up a good point. Strategy games, that Jamal doesn't really play strategy games. He thinks they're a waste of time, just like RPGs, right? So, but yeah, if you want to talk about strategy games, obviously my favorite is Final Fantasy Tactics. You already know. So, Final Fantasy Tactics, without a shadow of doubt, is my favorite fantasy game. My favorite strategy game. What about you, Bobby?
Honestly, if I had to choose a strategy game, I'd probably have to say Disgaea for the PSP.
Not bad.
I enjoyed Disgaea. You had a lot of character creation abilities in that game. Don't get me wrong. I love Final Fantasy Tactics. I still play Wars of Lions.
I love it.
But it was definitely probably one of the harder ones also, and the most irritating of all strategy RPGs games I've played. Fire Emblem, you name it. Yeah. Any one. If your character died, you couldn't revive them. They were going for good.
I'm sorry, I lied. Shining Force. I lied. Shining Force. That's where it started from there. All right, well let's start to wrap this up. Let's get one big final topic. Let's say Jamal. Can Jamal pull a topic up that's so big to end this almost hour-long video now? I have to break it up. But can you get one topic if you haven't talked about that?
I mean, we already said the best game of
I think
ever.
I have one. Not Jamal, but in your opinion, the most controversial game released to date.
Wow, it had to be Mortal Kombat. First Mortal Kombat that broke so many boundaries in video games that nobody ever seen. Without Mortal Kombat, we wouldn't have a rating system. So
I would say Grand Theft. That was pretty controversial.
the first one or the third one, because I would have, if you want to say any of the Grand Theft Autos, it'd have to be 3.
I mean,
because nobody gave recognition until the third one came out.
Yeah.
A bunch of bandwagon jumpers, but
third San Andreas, stuff like that. I would say Grand Theft was pretty bad.
And yeah, San Andreas with the hot coffee scandal.
I'd honestly have to say, if I had to choose, because I really didn't prepare for this, I'd have to say Duke Nukem.
And somehow, ladies and gentlemen, Duke Nukem's coming out next week.
Dang.
The forever. So, mark your calendars. World's gonna end. But definitely Mortal Kombat. Fatalities. They never saw anything like that. Ripping people's spines out. Super Nintendo games and Genesis. People weren't ready for that. People still aren't ready for that. I mean, look at Mortal Kombat Fatalities. Still, they're insane. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that little video game debate. We're gonna have another one coming up with wrestling. But stay tuned for that. Jamal's not ready.
Take it easy.